What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to episode 103 of the U.S.S. Enterprise D tutorial. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Also, don't forget to join the Discord. I have my next build poll going on in the Discord channel right now for what my next ship build is going to be. So make sure to join the Discord. I'll have a link in the description below. Um, and the poll is as follows. I base this off of the most popular ship requests that I've received on YouTube. And it goes as follows. USS Stargazer, Jem'Hadar Warship, Deep Space Nine and Defiant, Enterprise NX-01, USS Excelsior, USS Kelvin, Klingon Warbird, Romulan Valdor type Warbird, USS Titan, and Voyager. Um, so make sure to go in, join the Discord, and that'll be under the next build poll tab to submit your vote. Right now, currently, surprise, surprise, Voyager is actually winning out. Voyager was actually going to be my original build after the Enterprise D, but I had so many people throwing ideas at me. I was like, well, maybe this would be a good time to do a poll. But I mean, so far, Voyager is currently the number one um, voted requests that I have on the Discord channel. So definitely be sure to check that out. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump in what we got going on today. We got about a 20-minute episode. We are going to be focusing on the exterior of the Enterprise D. We're going to be doing a little bit of that going forward. We'll be doing some work on the outside, doing some work on the inside, going back and forth. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into it because we have about a 20-minute episode today. And I don't want to blow it up too much with the extra commentary. But right now, what we're doing is we're peppering in our escape pods. Talked about this in previous episodes where on the actual Enterprise D, these escape pods are probably about 4 blocks wide, and one of the things that you can do with your ship to help with the scale of it is make certain details smaller, because by making these details smaller, it makes your ship look bigger. And my main conclusion, I came to this because, again, these escape pods are quite large on the Enterprise D. And I was just messing around, and off camera, I tested it out to see how it would look. And they didn't look right when I went 4 blocks wide. So that was just kind of my decision making on that. I was like, well, I'll go a single block. It makes the ship look larger, and I think it looks better. It's not too much, you know what I mean? So that's really why I kind of came to that. But we're going to be doing this gingerly. We don't want to be going crazy adding in these things. You want to do it just a little bit at a time, add a couple, zoom out, take a look, see how it looks, see if the pattern matches, see if you're happy with it, and then, continue on. Right now I'm trying to do 2 rows at the same time, and I'm using this, I'm using the top row to dictate where I put the blocks in the bottom row. That's definitely one thing that you can do to kind of help you out and guide you in the direction that you need to go in if you want to save that time. Yeah, this is going to be one of the things that we're going to be adding in, because the Enterprise D is it's not an easy ship to detail, and I've been finding this out the hard way. I talked about this again in past episodes that um, a lot of the ships or a lot of the builds that you'll see of the Enterprise D, whether it's a Minecraft or it's just a model in general, a 3D model, the majority of them um, lean on the Aztecing on the ship for the detail. You take the Aztecing away, there really is not that much detail to the ship. It actually turned into a bit of a problem for me to try and figure out how I wanted to do it. I do want to briefly talk a little bit about what I have going on right here, and we'll get back into talking about the detailing. But the way I'm spacing these out is I'm going with the cut line, and I'm this half slab row right here that's going up 1 block, I'm going with the L shape. So you can see that I'm trying to stick with my pattern here. And there's no necessarily set way to do this other than just the way that I'm describing it. Going with a cut line is something that matches. So in this case, with this row, I'm going with this L shape where these two half slabs are here, and then in the middle of that, I do a block of white terracotta. That's the easiest way to describe everything that we're going to be doing pretty much in today's episode, at least with the half slabs. But I wanted to make a point to talk about that because I think it's important to discuss my thought process on here and how I do these ships because, um, to be honest with you, I mean, this is exactly how I do it. And, a lot of people, I've been getting actually a ton of positive feedback and a ton of new people coming in to watch my builds, telling me that they really appreciate it, that I'm doing these, and that I've had even a few people tell me that I've been the best one. And that's honestly, like, it's humbling. It makes me feel awesome. So I'm trying to make a point to really just talk about this stuff because I think these are the things that you guys want to hear about, especially with my thought process, because when you know what to look for, these are the things that are going to help you to be a better builder. Um, at this point, I just kind of do them to like as second nature because I've built so many ships in Minecraft that I've just gotten used to it. Now, even with that last row there, that last one with the L shape, it felt like it was too much. Um, I could have kept going with that pattern because that went with what I just literally said, but sometimes less is more. And you kind of just have to take a look at it and see if you're adding to, if it looks like it's too much. If it does, then you need to tone it back just a little bit. But no, this is definitely something that we're going to be doing off and on going forward with the Enterprise D, adding in little hints of details here and there. I actually had to hit a couple of different sources to get all the detail out of this thing that I did. I think one of them was the Eagle Moss Enterprise D, and then another one was the I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was actually a toy model of the Enterprise D, and I got some actually really good pinstriping out of it. I'll try to make a point that when I start to do some of that stuff, I'll pull the reference up so you guys can see what I'm talking about, so you can try to find the same one. If I can, I'll try to find what it was called so that can help you out a little bit better. But you'd be surprised what you can find, and especially like what detail you can even get out of a toy, because that was one of the main problems that I had with this build specifically. Is that Enterprise D, take away the Aztecing, it does not have a lot of details, so you kind of have to search those details out, because what I don't want is just like a plain Jane ship. When we started really getting into the exterior here in just the last couple of episodes, we pretty much had like a white canvas, and now we've slowly but surely started adding in these elements. We added in the windows on the backbone of the neck, and now we're adding in our escape pods. We'll continue to add in our escape pods, and as we continue on, we'll start adding in some of that pinstriping that I was talking about, another hull detailing, and then the windows for the saucer and the sides of the neck and the lower hull. I mean, we've really we're 103 episodes into this thing, but in some ways we've only really just begun with this, because there's so much stuff that we haven't even gotten into. And if you're looking for a tutorial on the Enterprise D and fleshing this stuff out, this is the tutorial for you. If you're looking for a tutorial that you're going to build a ship this scale in one episode, it's not going to happen. Not in my opinion, because I've literally, I think I'm at 534 recording sessions total that I've done on the Enterprise D. Now, bear in mind, a lot of those, majority of them actually, are not anything more than a couple of minutes, because what I'll do is, to help me out with the editing, I'll only record while I'm building something. So if I'm just sitting there, I'll actually stop the recording, so this way I can make it a little bit easier on my editing process, and I can just clip stuff together to where the end result is what you guys see in these episodes. So I mean, it's kind of hard to gauge how many episodes that's going to turn into, but This has already turned into the longest tutorial that I've done so far on Minecraft, and I could probably more than likely go another 100 episodes, maybe. I mean, we'll see. I could end up being wrong. I mean, with what I have on my recordings, it might come out to 50. It could come out to 100. I really won't know. I won't have any idea until we get towards the end of this thing. But what I can say is that even where I'm at right now, I still have a lot of work to do on the interior. I'm finally starting to get to a point where I'm throwing a capital D and done on sections of the ship for the first time, which is actually very, very rewarding. But it's been a very slow process to get to that point, you know. But this is one of those things, you know. It's a marathon. It's not a race to first. This is all about endurance and how, you know, going that extra mile. That's really what we're doing here, because I've talked about this also in the past, that I figure that we've put this much time into this thing, might as well put that extra time into it to keep going and just get this thing done right, because when it's done, I think I'm going to end up having a pretty impressive build on my hands here, and I'm actually really, really excited to walk through this thing when it's actually been completed all the way. But there's a lot of work to get there in between here and there. I've even been talking about this. I don't know. I might end up doing a couple of little builds in between while I'm working on the Enterprise D. Those of you that follow me on Discord and Xbox have seen that I've been on Minecraft a lot within the last 3 weeks, and that's because I've been trying to get a lot done. I've really been trying to get moving on this thing, and I've been making some considerable headway. A lot of sections of the well, not a lot, but some sections of the ship, like I said, I can say that they're done. The entertainment deck, I'm almost 100% completed with. There's only a couple of things left that I have to do on it. I have to build out a couple of lounges, and then the activated holodeck, I have to build that, and then I think I'm pretty much done on it. But there's going to be some cool things on this ship, and what I'm doing is, and this has actually really helped me out, is that, and I should have maybe established this a little bit early on, but I kind of did, but I just didn't have it like set that was what it was going to be, and that's, I have my ship broken up into areas. And I'll give you a perfect example of that. Like, so starting up to the bottom to the top, because my ship is actually going to be 20 decks tall. So it's going to be a little bit less than half of what a full-scale Enterprise D is. Which is kind of crazy because this thing is already massive, so it gives you an idea of just how big a real Galaxy class is. If we would have built this thing at full scale, there would have been no way we would have been able to stay within render distance on this thing. So it's only actually about 4 decks shy of the Enterprise E. But still, we've got more than enough room to do everything that we're in need to do on this. But starting from the top, working our way up, the lower hull and neck is pretty much engineering. And then going into the saucer, from the very bottom of the saucer up to the top deck, we've got our captain's yacht, followed by the entertainment deck, crew deck, and then medical deck, and then primary shuttle bay, and then bridge. That's kind of how I have the ship broken up into. And once I did that, it's actually made it a little bit easier to start figuring out where things need to go. Because what I've been doing is I've actually been going back and I've been trying to find pictures of interior of the Enterprise D, and I've also been watching episodes of TNG to try to give me ideas on some of these different rooms. And believe it or not, I've actually got some really cool stuff in store for you guys. And if you want a little bit of a taste of that, be sure to check out the Discord and go under my my current project, and I'm posting screenshots just as little teasers to give you a taste of what's to come. But it's definitely, once I categorize my ship that way, it's definitely made it a lot easier to make decisions on where some of the stuff is going to go. And that's kind of what I've been doing right now. That I've been doing a little bit of coming out on the outside of the ship, hitting the details, um, and then going back on the inside, and then picking what room I'm going to be working on that day, deciding where it's going to go, and then just trying to flesh it out and get it done. So this way I can move on to the next section. But yeah, I mean, it's just been a process, and this is something else that I'll say too. And I stole this from Bear Grylls with his survival show, but and you might be surprised they're related. At least what the reference I'm going to be making is that if you break this thing down bit by bit, when you look at it as a whole, yes, it looks very scary to try to build something like this, but just take it one step at a time. And when you start doing that over a course of time, all these steps that you're taking, like basically what we're doing in these episodes, are little baby steps. Every episode is a baby step. You'll eventually progress to this point. It can definitely happen if you have the patience to do it. And if you're having problems or you're getting stuck, step away from it. If you have questions, hit up the Discord, drop a comment in Discord, or drop a comment on the YouTube channel. If I can help you out, I can. I'd recommend doing it on the Discord. If you have a question, be sure to take a screenshot so this way I can see exactly what you're working on, and I can try to give you some advice on what you can do. That's one of the things I've actually been really excited with, because I even had somebody a couple weeks ago that they were having problems with the saucer outline, and I gave them, I asked them to post a screenshot of it, and they did, and I was able to see exactly the mistake that they made and making suggestions on how they can correct it. And it's not that they necessarily did anything wrong, they really didn't. They just, there's always new ways to try building these ships and new ways of approaching it. And I think that I've pretty much have gotten it down to where I've got a solid process in play. And I think once most people learn this process, they're watching my channel, you'd be surprised. It's going to start to become very, very easy to build these ships. But with that being said, there's still going to be challenges to be had. There's still going to be certain things that you can have issues with. Like even with the Enterprise D, I actually need to go over one more on the right to make that cut line. But even with the Enterprise D, it had its own challenges. I had to basically learn how to build a curved neck the way that we have for the Enterprise D, and then not only that, with the Deflector Dish, that was a learning process. Ironically enough, I actually just went back for the last time and made one final revision to it, because the inside, the blue portion of the Deflector Dish, even where we're at right now, I was not fully satisfied with it, and I just kind of wanted to go back one more time and give it one more pass over so I can be fully satisfied with it. And that's okay, especially when you're working on a custom ship for the first time. There's going to be a trial and error period, and you're bound to make mistakes, and things are just going to need to be corrected. If you're anal like I am in that regard, if you're not and you don't really care, then yeah, you can move on to the next step and not really worry about it. But I'm trying to make the best Enterprise D that I can possibly make. So for that reason, that's why I go back and I keep working on these areas that I'm not fully satisfied with, just so I can build the best ship that I can build. And we're looking pretty good so far. We really are. When this thing, I do have screenshots on my Discord of how the exterior looks, and I'm a lot further along than what we are right now. I've got a majority of my detailing done on the ship. So if you want a teaser for what that looks like, I have posted a couple of screenshots to give you a taste of the direction that this thing is going in. And, I think that she looks great. She looks absolutely fantastic. Looks just like the Enterprise D. Really happy with it. And one of the things I'm actually excited about, too, is that I'm almost done with the exterior. There's only like one or two things I have left to do. I think I'm pretty much done with the pinstriping. The only thing I really have left to do is I have to add some more windows, and then I have to do the registration number on the saucer. And then after that, I'll pretty much just be focused on the interior unless I think of any little tiny things here and there that I want to add into it. But I mean, she's starting to look pretty good, even just with little changes that we made today. You know, adding in our escape pods. We still have to do the sides here, but we'll get there. Then we've added in our squares here on the hull. That is on the Enterprise D. You're going to see little details like that on the ship. I don't know why they necessarily decided to put them in, but that doesn't necessarily make it look bad. It just is kind of a weird design cue after going from working on like Constitution classes and ships from Kirk's era to working on a Galaxy class from Next Gen. I've noticed that you know, some of the design cues are quite different as far as the hull goes. And see with this pattern here on the side, we could keep that going at least one more block. And that doesn't necessarily look bad. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to have that many long patterns or long sets of the escape pods, but I think at least for that row there, that doesn't necessarily look bad. So I think I can maybe get away with doing that, at least on the sides here. One of the other things that's going to help you out too is that, again, we're going that if you do one thing on one side, do it on the other side too. So in this case, what we're doing here on the front right, we need to do that on the front left side, and then the rear left and the rear right. So again, you know, we're taking our saucer, we're cutting it into 4 pieces. We're technically only doing it for the first time on this one corner here, because everything else that we do, we're going to repeat that process again on this side, the back side, and this back side. When you start to do these things, it's going to make shipbuilding a heck of a lot easier for you, and you're going to start to make a lot of less mistakes, because you're following through with a pretty sound process in building these things. You know, this was something I didn't just decide one day, you know, I'm going to build it in this process. No, it didn't work out like this. We're talking, it took a period of time building these ships to learn how to do stuff like this over a 10-year period. So you guys are getting a pretty good benefit out of this. You're getting all my secrets, ins and outs, without having to spend the time to develop them. So hopefully, you know, this tutorial series and this episode helped you out today. I hope it did. If you have any questions, though, be sure to drop a comment below. I'm usually pretty responsive in the comment section. I'll try to help you out if I can. And yeah, I think that's going to wrap us up today. I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in today's episode. And if you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. New subscribers, don't forget to hit notifications on so you get notified when those new videos drop. And speaking of new videos, my schedule has somewhat changed just a little bit. We're still going to be dropping videos Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7, but then I'm also going to be dropping videos on Saturdays as well. I didn't have one this past Saturday because I had a family emergency, but I will have one this coming week and going forward. So definitely keep an eye out for that, and be sure to join the Discord for all the latest updates regarding this channel. And as we hit our goal of 1,000 subscribers, I've got the 2016 Enterprise A from Star Trek Beyond tutorial that's going to be coming out. I'm really looking forward to that. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. If you hope everybody has a happy and safe week. And of course, what did you make in Minecraft today? Let me know in the comments section.